what is thought and what is the origin of thought. It's so important that we understand how our lives, operate, how our lives functions. Okay. Now, every day we think. All right. We are thinking creatures. We continue to think. We continue to, um, you know, think about our lives, and so all of our interactions, activity, they are all a function of thought. And so out of thought comes our decision. Out of thought comes our insecurity. Out of thought comes our um, joy, sadness, hopelessness. All right. Now, all of that are a product of thought. They came from thought. All right. And so, where does thoughts originate from? You see, where does thought originate from? What is thought? And what is the origin of thought? Okay. And so, like I said, out of thought comes thinking. Okay. And that thinking can either be imaginary, can either be an imagination or just a remembrance, which in this case you call memory. Okay. But both memory and imagination are expressions of thought. Okay. And so what is thought? What is the origin of thought? All right. Now, I would like to approach it this way, that the body is the origin of thought. Okay. The body is the origin of thought. Why? If there is a cessation of the body senses, there will be no thought. So thought is a function of the body sensations. It's the function of the body. Okay. And so you think about what you see, you think about what you feel, you think about what you hear. All right. Now all of your sense interactive organs, all right, together forms the basis of thought. Thought is based on the collective interaction of your body, sense organs. All right. And so it's important for you to understand that. All right. It's important for you to know that there is no thought without the body. There is no thinking without thought. Okay. And you see, because one because one functions, all right, in thought, okay, and out of thought, one is bound, all right, to the source. That is, you are limited to the source of thought. You are limited to to the very origin of it. Okay. Now I know how thought is so powerful, all right, in affecting our lives, in shaping our experience of life. Okay. But then we must understand the whole structure of thought itself, so that we can sustain an attitude, a healthy attitude, all right, to what thought is. All right. And do you understand? To what thought is, to thought, okay, as an instrument, all right, by which our lives functions, by which our life operates. And so you and I must understand, all right, the nature, the structure of thought and where it comes from. Okay. And so, like I said, The origin of thought is the collective interaction of your sense organs. All right? And that's why the cessation of thought is likened to a dead state. Okay? It's likened to a dead state. A state of inactivity. Because when the body acts, it creates thoughts from its action. Okay? And the thought which the body has created from its action, in turn, influences the body. You can see the relationship between thought and body. All right? Thought comes from body, and thought is affected by body. Okay? And so thought, as it were, is both the the body, as it were, is both the source of thought and the feedback system of thought. And so when one is thinking, all right, when one is thinking, you don't think about something you don't know. All right? And what you know, it's simply a function of your interactive senses, your sense organs. Okay? Now, the body is both the source, the origin of thought, and the feedback system of thought. And so whatever you have in your mind, the body begins to resonate with that frequency, with that thought. Okay? Now, you can see the relationship. Okay? You can see the relationship. And our life is often governed, all right, by that which has come from the body. You see, the reason why, you should understand this. The reason why you should understand this is that it's going to really, aid you, aid you in terms of how how you handle your body, how you take your body, how you understand the entirety of your own structure. Okay? Because you see, this is where the solution lies in you. The problem is from you. The solution is from you. And the reason why you should understand all of this is that you shouldn't be looking outward. You shouldn't be looking outside. All right? If that which is outside is shaped from within, then you need to give attention to that which is within. And that which is within, it's your entire self, it's your entire structure. Okay? And so it's so important for you to understand this. Okay? And so thought comes from the action of the body, and in turn it's affected, all right, it's affected by the thought which it has created. Okay? And so as you keep growing, okay, as a child, interacting with your environment, all of these interaction are what began to build the building block of thought. All of that interaction, growing up with the environment, all right, constitutes the mode of thought, are what built the mode of thought that has shaped your life over time. Without the interaction of the body with the environment, there is no thought. Okay? And so when we talk about meditation, what is the quieting of the mind? What is the cessation of thought in meditation? You see, you call it stillness. Be still and know that I am God. That is, That is, in meditation, the body ceases from action. It ceases from acting. All right? It ceases from acting. And if the body is not acting, then there is no thought. However, it's difficult for most of us because many thoughts have been created. And so while you even think you are still in meditation, thoughts still keep coming up. And how do you deal with that? How do you bring to an end the constant popping up of thought, the constant, the constant um, 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 the constant thought, that keeps showing up each time you want to meditate and be still? How do you deal with that? How do you handle that? You see, now understand, and you can think about this, okay? You see, I know that when you are able to deal with the issue of thought, you are able to deal with all problems of life. Because out of that arises all kinds of issues that we face as human beings. And so you want to deal with this and deal with that and deal with this and deal with that. But then there is the master source that generates all of these issues that we are faced with in life. And that is how we think. And that is, our own structure of thought, which is based on the body. And so when that keeps showing up, how do you handle it? You see, how do you handle it? Most especially, all right, if that which is showing up is constantly causing a rush of emotions in your body. Like I said, there is that, inseparable relationship between the thought and the body. And so as those thoughts keep showing up, there is always a rush of emotion. Let's say somebody angered you, and maybe as at that time you keep thinking about it, and the moment you are thinking about it, your body is already, is getting hot already. Maybe this, what has happened about how many years ago, and right now you are feeling the rush of that emotion. I mean, this is what we go through, okay? And so I'm saying something that you are used to, you are familiar with. All right. Now, you learn to observe. You see, you observe thought without judging thought. You observe thought without giving an action to thought. And so, understand that it is normal for the body to give a feedback of what is going on at the mental level. You see, but you must not consummate the thought by giving it an action. Now, it's normal for that rush of emotion. It's normal for that feedback that you are receiving at that moment. But then one must not give it an action. And the more you observe without an action, the more the thought dissolves. You see, the more it dissolves itself. And so it's so possible that in meditation, there is a complete cessation of thoughts. It's so possible. When the body is not acting, and when there is observation without judgment. You see, observing the thought without having to judge the thought is the power that brings thoughts to an end. Now let's talk about the body. You see, now the reason why you should not base your entire life on thought is because it's all limited to the body, and the body is just is just a drop, all right? Or it's just that limited space in which consciousness, all right, has appeared. Is that limited space in which consciousness is playing out. The body is consciousness playing out in a very limited state. Yes, the body is not different from consciousness, all right? The body is consciousness in a limited space, in a limited, in a limited level of vibration. Okay? And so you must be aware of this to transcend it. All right? And when the body stops moving, when there is the cessation, all right, of that which is producing thought, then there is no thought. And if there is no thought, what then is consciousness. And this consciousness is not aware of itself. And this is so interesting, because the body, as that which is limited, it is that limited space that, out of that limited space arise the awareness of the other. But in consciousness, there is no awareness of the other. And so in being still is to lose sense of yourself, is to lose the awareness of this form. The thought goes with the form. And so thought is limited. And so you can't base your entire life on thought. And so just in case you are being frustrated by, what is in, by your thought, it's important that you can't base your life on thought. That your responsibility as a spiritual being is to outgrow, is to know the limit of your thought and transcend it. This is so important.